is Abe again. I just wanted to say one more thing that's important to know about PGP encryption. Again, for the purposes of open source software and for scientific publishing, we're really only using the signature and verification features of PGP. But one thing that people think about a lot in the security world is using the encryption features of PGP. And we've seen that in the previous video. So there's something that's very important to understand about encryption, and that's that there's a difference between secrecy or privacy and anonymity. Something that seems to be very important nowadays in the online world is being able to conduct yourself anonymously, say, view certain news sites or blogs without, say, a boss or a former employee who's disgruntled, knowing what your personal tastes are and somehow blackmailing you or something, right? So anonymity can be pretty important. But privacy is something else, right? Privacy means people know who you are, and they probably know roughly what you're doing, but they don't know all the details. So you can think about, say, if you walk into a public restroom, right? Everyone knows who you are, and they know where you went, and they probably know roughly what you're doing, but they don't know all the details, and you want to keep those hidden and private. So an important message involving about PGP encryption is that it's pretty good privacy, not anonymity. And that's because if you send a PGP encrypted message, especially if you sign it, anyone who sees that message, they can't decrypt the contents. They don't know what was actually said. But they know who sent it and who received it because, of course, the key information is embedded in the file. So if your concern is for people to not know who you are and not know who you're communicating with, PGP is not the right tool. But if you don't care that people know that you're communicating, but you want the contents of those communications to be secret, then PGP is an excellent tool. It's mathematically, essentially provably secure, as far as we know. I.e., if there's no mathematics beyond what we know about prime numbers, then it is secure. So a good example is the following. Suppose that President Obama and Vladimir Putin go to a conference and they want to talk about high-level international diplomacy. So we can all see on the video that the two of them walk into a soundproof room and close the door, and they're in there for maybe a half hour or an hour talking. We don't know what they're talking about, and presumably it wasn't recorded. So we have no way to know what was in that conversation. But we know who went in and who came out and how long they were talking. And that information is not secret. The contents of the conversation are secret. And it's the same thing with PGP. So again, the sender and the recipient and the fact that a message took place is known to essentially everyone in the world. In fact, and especially if you've uploaded your keys to the public server, then they even know who else trusts you and can kind of build out some social framework around that. But the content of the message should be secure as long as everyone's kept their keys safe. So again, that doesn't really come in at all in scientific publishing, but it's an interesting aspect of the way that encryption works, that the fact that the conversation took place and who is involved in that conversation are essentially completely public information that's easy to find out. So that's just something to keep in mind. There are lots of interesting articles about public-private key encryption online, and it's a great mathematical topic that maybe someday I'll give a math club talk about. But for now, that's all I have to say. Thanks.